Thank you so much, actually, for being here today with Montreal Rocks. So we have with us Andrew Virrueta from the band Interloper. And Andrew, I want to also grab the occasion to say hi to the other two band members that are not with us today, Miles Dimitri Baker and Aaron Stechauner. So hi, guys. So I want to talk first of all about your upcoming release for the LP Search Party that will be dropped the 11th of June via Nuclear Blast Records. So first of all, also it must have been a sort of release for the spirit too, considering also this crazy time. So to be able to release an entire album throughout these crazy times, and you also released an EP just before, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great, but you know, being in a quarantine situation, or you know how it's been, has bred a lot of creativity and a lot of time available to us that we wouldn't otherwise have if we were on tour.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, if the world was open. So I'm glad that allowed for us to release two things for this year. Or one thing now, and then the other thing is coming later in the year.
But that's great. A good start for 2021, I have to say.
Yeah, man. I mean,
easy one for sure. So the entire, I had the chance to listen to the entire LP, which is great. I was super happy to be able to do so. And the entire album overall seems kind to embody a quest for discovery. On the one hand, for your own sound, your sound as a band, maybe also of your creative process overall. I don't know if I'm on the right path by saying that. So can you?
Definitely you are. There was a lot of experimentation, I think, during the process of writing the album. I think even more experimentation during the EP, just because, you know, those songs were the very first things that me, Aaron, and Miles had written together. So, you know, with a new group of people, at least at the time, it was a new group of people. With a new group of people to be writing together with, you're gonna experience a lot of opposing ideas and have to come to a lot of compromises with that. And so I think that Revenant Legacy was definitely a little less focused, in my opinion, than Search Party is. Just because we've had more time to sit together and write together and like understand certain sounds that other members of the band like or dislike, and kind of writing in accordance to that, catering to what, you know, the other dudes are going to appreciate, you know?
Okay. And Andrew, do you guys already developed a sort of strict way of writing, or I don't know, maybe do you bring something on the table that it's always like that, or you guys kind of brainstorm together when you actually create your songs?
You know, it really depends. Sometimes Miles will write a good chunk of a song and then present it to Aaron and I, and then we'll work from there. Sometimes I will do the same thing. I'll write like maybe a big chunk or a full song, and then we'll rearrange it together. And then sometimes Miles and I will sit together, and sometimes just Aaron and I will sit together and then write stuff. So yeah, each song on the album, or each like couple songs in the album, were done through those processes. One of those.
Okay, and talking about the album overall again, I see there's it is a kind of the album itself is in a sort of liminal space between dark and bright, and it also it relates to the atmospheres, but also the use of your vocals and everything. So, is there a narrative that you want to convey? A big one, you know, like, and if there is this narrative a little bit more on the dark side or more on the bright side?
You know, it's really hard to say. I don't, there's not like a narrative, like I'm not trying to push some sort of narrative as like a common theme throughout the songs at all. But I think lyrically, a lot of the songs do have similar themes, kind of unintentionally. And those themes kind of, I think they cover just problems that I've gone through, problems that Miles and Aaron have gone through, and just things that people in general go through. And I try and put myself in those shoes and write from coming from that kind of place. And a lot of times, you know, it's like it can be dark or it can be like optimistic. But I think even the dark songs, I've always been a fan of darker music just because I feel like I can relate to it. And it's coming, like the core of that music to me is always genuine and honest. And I like that. I don't like being lied to when I listen to music, you know? And I think that people that are fans of music can sense when an artist is lying to them. I've always, you know, I try and keep the lyrics and stuff as honest as I can, and coming from a place of personal experience or of speculation. It's pretty much it. A lot of it covers like, you know, relational problems. Some songs are covering personal like events that happened in my life, and I wrote those songs to cope with or move past them.
So it's a very intense. There are also lots of tracks. So it's an interesting path to take throughout all these up and downs and dark and brights and stories and things that happen. So
I think it's important to have dynamic in the music, you know, because you know, life isn't static. You know, events in life are not static. Everything is changing. There's different emotions. So I think it's only necessary to have the music changing with that, you know?
No, that's totally true. Absolutely. And I have to say, I loved very much like the title track, Search Party, because I found it kind of a very rich song in terms really of sound and the vocals, and a sort of mature song somehow, no? It's now I'm curious to know, was it the song that named the album or vice versa?
So that song is interesting because our old singer that we had, Mike Semeski, he actually wrote that song. He wrote the lyrics for that song. And one of the lines in the song has, you know, the term "search party" in it. And I don't know, we all just really liked how it sounded, and we liked it so much that we just wanted to name the whole album that. And I think from that point, after that song was written, I think we had maybe like 6 or 7 songs left to write for the album. And so it kind of gave us a little bit more focus and understanding of what we were trying to say. Mm-hmm. And like at least for me to when I took over vocals and stuff, like the lyrical themes to unfold in complement to that.
But it's interesting. Actually, it's a great name for a sort of debut LP, because Search Party, you have both the idea of a need of discovery and looking for something, so not to continue, and then party. So it's also like an idea of being together and to create a sort of bond, no? So I think it's a great title for a great song, and also a very, very interesting LP. So another song that I personally loved is Idle Years. And it's very evocative, the way it starts. And I want to know who had the idea of this interspersing the song with these guitar lines, very middle age kind of
so that's so like Miles's flavor. That's actually a Miles song for the most part. I only helped arrange that song, and I think what I added to that song was the solo section, but yeah, that whole thing, that whole like very Euro folk kind of sound is that's what Miles likes to bring to the table and brings to the sound. It's not something that it's not in my nature to write that way, but it is in his. So I really, really love that song. And what's really cool about that too is because I don't write like that, just out of my second nature, it's cool to have somebody that does, because it kind of has helped me develop a taste for that music and an understanding for that music that I didn't have before.
Yeah, that's an interesting point for sure. And I really enjoyed that song too. So
Thank you.
It's a very particular kind of sound, and it's very interesting. So
that's a favorite of ours.
So
sure.
as we were saying at the beginning, you released, I think if I'm not mistaken, in January, a Revenant Legacy, your EP.
Yeah.
And then you're about to release your long play. So what sort of challenges because doing a long play is a hell of a job. Like you have a lot to work on the production side, mastering everything, mixing. It's a long process. So what
Yeah.
sort of challenges did you guys find as a band? And also I'm interested with you, Andrew, what you personally what challenges did you personally have?
Yeah.
If any, of course.
So I think that one of the biggest challenges in making the album was our relationship as a band got very fragile during the process.
Wow.
We were very tense with each other. We were butting heads almost every day and arguing over certain sections of the songs that we didn't like, and just it was a lot of misunderstandings. And I think it was because our visions for what we wanted the album to sound like, we weren't on the same wavelength for how we wanted the album to sound. And so because of that, it was like we were thinking two different things or three different things sometimes. And so yeah, it caused a lot of problems. But we all ended up sitting down and talking about it, and the goal for on all of our ends is just to make the best music that we possibly can. That's always like the priority. And so with that in mind, and just kind of refocusing on that as a priority, I think it came together a lot more smoothly after we had just like a bro talk,
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Yeah. But for me, one of the big challenges for me was I was able to, so Mike Semeski, our old singer, had written a lot of the songs, like maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 of the songs out of the 10 or 11 or the 10 originals that are on the album. And so I had like the other 5, I can't remember the exact number, it was 5 or 6, but the other 5 were left to me to write. And because I knew that I was going to be taking over vocals as well as playing guitar, a big challenge for me was, number one, making sure that the parts that I wanted to put in were within my range.
Okay.
And number 2, making sure that I was going to be able to perform these live. I think it's very easy for a band or a singer, when in the demoing process of an album, to write without thinking of the live performance and not spacing out like times to breathe and all this stuff that you think about when you're performing in person. But if you're at a computer, it's not obvious. So I was really trying my best to be aware of that. I think I achieved it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the live show. But
well, we can wait.
yeah. But
you guys have to come to Montreal, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think,
you'll find lots of great fans here that gonna enjoy and love your music for sure.
Yeah, I love Montreal. Love it. Yeah. So the songs that Mike wrote, those ones are when I was recording the vocals, like the final vocals for the album, I realized how difficult the songs that he wrote were to perform live, and to perform in a recording session without chopping things, because he I think he kind of just wanted to write what sounded best, and not, which is great, writing what sounds best always, but what is possible and what's not possible is also something that's really important. So there's a lot of vocals overlapping in the songs that he wrote, which is going to be an interesting thing to figure out live. But we got Miles and Aaron practicing their vocals and stuff so they can help me out. So
nice.
Yeah.
So they'll end up knowing what doesn't mean how much air is involved in the process.
Yeah, and just singing high section after high section after high section. It's all belting, some of these things got to get worked out. And I think that for the next album after Search Party, I'm going to really, really be hard on myself about that. So
this is nice what you're saying, because my next question would be, where are you guys heading I know that it's soon because you already released and are about to release something, but since you open up the door, so where do you see your sound and your style heading somehow in the future?
I think what's going to happen is, because I have a very specific vision for how I want the next album to sound, but I know that Miles and Aaron will also have a very specific vision. I think it's what I was just explaining about the process of making Search Party. I think it's going to happen again on the second album, because I really like what I would like to do is to really pursue the more progressive elements of the band and the more explorative aspects, and really just go all in into that way and see what different sounds we can find. But I don't know. We'll see what the other guys think. But since you're interviewing me, that's what the answer is. I want to be more progressive. I want the songs to be a little more explorative, and yeah, and I want the vocals to be a little less crazy in the
so you can breathe
high end.
exactly. But anyway, we put it on record, so the guys will know it's there. So that's what you would like to have, just like more softer. Would like to have for the next work. So just a couple of other questions, Andrew. Thank you so much for your time. And are there any strong influences? Something that really kind of you guys, when you were kind of discussing throughout the process of creating the LP, you guys really were okay, yes, this is strong on us.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a few bands that come to mind, but nothing really, there wasn't one specific band really that was like a driving force. It was more so like, oh, this part reminds us of like Gojira, like that's awesome. It reminds us of this band, it reminds us of that band, kind of thing. And it's like, let's kind of go in this certain direction. The cases really change from song to song in that regard. I love Metallica a lot, and that's something that's always been in my blood when I write. And also Between the Buried and Me is a gigantic influence of mine. So I mean, also the Contortionists too. So if people hear like elements of that, then they're probably correct in thinking that, and they have good ears, Nice. I think it's important to make a distinction between being inspired by something and like replicating something.
Yeah.
I think that that's a really important thing to do, and I think that there are a lot of bands that maybe go a little too far into the replication aspect of things because they love a band, and they think that like replicating the sound is the right move, and that's what inspiration means. But I think it's a lot more, it's a lot broader of a spectrum than that, and it's different. So I don't know, maybe it's a little obvious, and maybe I'll be eating my words when the album's out, but that's just what I think, and that's what I have in mind when I'm being inspired by something.
Yeah. But when you feel like you have some artist in your heart or in your soul, then it's normal that whatever you go ahead and create, they're gonna be there, So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, intentional or unintentional, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So plans for the future, and hopefully I'm including lives.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we want to be on the road. We want to support this album. And we want it to do as best as it possibly can, and everything that's in our power we're gonna do.
Okay.
And also we're about 7 songs deep into the second full length. So we're just gonna be working, and hopefully we'll have another album pretty soon.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Lots to listen to.
That's right. And then this year we did 2 releases. Next year we want to do 3.
Yeah, so keep putting the stake high.
Yeah.
Never stopping.
Yeah.
And Andrew, is there something that you'd like to say to your fans? Interloper?
I mean, obviously I would like to thank each and every one of them individually, but I have to do it like this. So thank you guys for supporting us, and thanks for taking the time to, give our music a chance, or, sticking around with us from the beginning and waiting as long as you did. I greatly appreciate it.
And thank you so much from Montreal Rocks to you, Andrew, and to Interloper. And write down the date, 11th of June, 2021, for the release of Search Party. So thank you again, and best of luck, and best of rock.
Best of rock. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Bye, Andrew. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.